Who disrupts my coronation?
Everyone has been destroyed because of this freak. I won't allow it! These babies just saved this lame fest party!
Hello, everybody. It is I, Alex, the producer, recording solo this week. We did say we were going to have content even during Easter. Obviously, Birdman couldn't make it here today. Was feeling a bit under the weather. He's got a bit of the keto flu, which, if you don't know, when you put yourself on a diet that is very high in protein but very low in fat and sugar, you can put yourself in a state of ketosis, and for an extended period of time, while you're in that state, at least at the beginning, you get what they call the keto flu. Basically makes you have a little bit of clouded thoughts and just general malaise and just being tired a lot. It's part of the diet he's on through taking the Optifast shakes while he's getting his liver and internal organs prepared for major surgery for his gastric bypass. I've been through that, so I know what it's like. And he was like, I can record. I'm like, no, you don't sound so great. Let me just do this solo. So we did have a review together that we recorded for Jackass Forever. So we'll have that in the middle of the show. He also has a couple of items that he wanted to review that he had pre-recorded. So we've got those here. Those being, excuse me, let's see here. He has from the product Just Play products. Just Play's Disney Pixar's Turning Red. They've got, I think he's got a plushie from them to talk about, or a couple toys, some licensed toys. That's kind of neat. As well as from Basic Fun, there's the tiny TV classics, which are like little toys that play clips from specific TV shows, and they're themed around that, which is kind of neat. Little, like, like those little arcade machines you can get that go on your shelf, like little tiny ones, little replicas. It's like that, but televisions with clips from movies and TV shows. So I've yet to see them actually in function. I'm going to have to visit Birdman and see them. But as it stands now, that's what he's got for this. I've got the news gathered, and we've got the weird news to go over. There's not a whole ton, simply because this was a long weekend. So happy, excuse me, sorry again. It's the weather's been weird here. We've had it hot and then cold. Now it's snowing again, and it's brought out any allergies that I have like crazy. But it is Easter weekend, so happy Easter, happy Passover, and I think I might be wrong, but I think it's Ramadan right now too. Regardless, if whatever you're celebrating on the long weekend, whether it be religious or just non-religious, staying home with your family, good for you. We'll be back with our regular programming probably midweek. I know this coming weekend I won't be here. My brother's birthday happens to fall on the day that we usually record, so we're having maybe a barbecue if the weather holds out, and Birdman might be flying solo for that, but I'll probably have a review there. But this week we are returning with Aaron to do our first Loose Cannons of the year. We are now 3 months behind when we planned on originally doing it, but a lot of that has been due to Birdman's schedule and just our life schedules as well. So we'll be back talking about some cool action movies over the next few weeks. So that'll be out this week, and we'll get into the news, and I'll come back at the end and sort of give you an update on like the recent upcoming episodes. So I guess before we head into the news, we should probably check out one of Birdman's newest reviews.
Let's go. I'm Maylin Lee. I wear what I want, say what I want, 24/7, 365. I know, it's a lot. But I don't got time to mess around. J'aime le fromage blanc. hustle, am I right?
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here, and I'm here to talk to you about some really cool products we got sent from Just Play, and it's from one of my new favorite movies, and that is Disney and Pixar's Turning Red, otherwise known as My Neighbor Toronto, if you're on the interwebs. So what we got sent was a variety of different products from the movie. If you've seen the movie, which is streaming now on Disney+, stars a little 13-year-old girl named Mei Lin, and well, she has a wee bit of a problem where she turns into a giant red panda that is unbelievably adorable, and it's a pretty cool story about growing up, puberty, and kind of learning who you are and your place in the world, and why you, well, just how you want to accept that. So what we got sent is we got sent a couple of the blind bag figures, which you could find at Walmart. I got 3 of the ones, and I actually got the one I really wanted, which is where May has kind of the starry-eyed kind of thing. These are about the same scale as, say, Marvel Legends Spider-Ham. Actually, if you've seen my pictures on my Instagram, that's where I put it as a comparison size. Not too bad. I think these retail for about $10 to $12, give or take. So that's not too bad for a blind bag figure. And if you look around online, you can actually figure out what the UPC codes are, so you can figure out which figures you are getting. So you're not necessarily getting a random thing if you are intent on getting everything. And I think there's a super rare flocked one, which I haven't been able to track down just yet, but beware, you will be mine. One of the other ones we got too, and this one's actually kind of neat, and I actually tried to find this thing locally at Walmart and Toys R Us. I was unsuccessful at the time, but you can find this on eBay and some online retailers, and that's the Deluxe Mei Lin doll. So what this is you get Mei Lin in her human form, but you also get kind of these clothing options where you can basically put her into the giant panda outfit. So you get this flocked outfit with a plastic head that just kind of fits over Mei Lin's human head, and then she can turn into the giant panda. You also get a little brush for her hair. That's a nice little collectible scale. I'd say it's probably about the size of a Transformer Studio Series deluxe figure in terms of scale. So about 4.5, maybe 5 inches at most. Not a really bad figure if you're into this thing, and I think a lot of little girls are honestly gonna love it. I love having it hang out in Hook and Ladder number 8, aka the Ghostbusters Firehouse. It's kind of nice. And then the other product that I got sent along for this was the little cute small plush red panda May, and I'm a 40-year-old man. I still sleep with stuffed animals. You know what? I'm cool with it. I think these are things you should probably check out. There are other things available from Just Play. There's like a secret journal that has like a UV light. There's a deluxe plush figure that does like all sorts of like phrases and stuff like that. So if you are really into checking out probably one of the better Disney and Pixar movies I've seen in a really long time, and if you want to bring home a little piece of that Toronto magic that may or may not turn you into a red panda, your results may vary, you should probably check out these products from Just Play. I really like them. This is something I would definitely give my kid, or for the Disney and Pixar fan in your family.
A little panda.
Abby, come on, May. It'll clear my mind. Just a little hint. It's so cute.
Fine.
The Prime Minister of Sweden visited Washington today, and my tiny little nipples went to France.
Gossip, rumors, panic in the streets. We're lucky.
This Week in Geek News.
Right hot off the presses, it is time for Geek News. So what do we have this week? This first story is brought to us from Gizmodo, and it is Elon Musk wants to buy 100% of Twitter for $43 billion in a hostile takeover. Elon Musk, who recently bought a 9.2% stake in Twitter, has made an offer to buy the company outright for $54.20 per share in cash in a hostile takeover, roughly $43 billion. What does that mean when it says in cash? It means that he has the liquid assets to just pay for it outright. You want to sign the papers, he can have it done within 24 hours. No weird deals that have to be made, no credit, no checks. Here's the money. It's like when you go to buy a home, you always have to go and get a credit check done and then secure finance. This is like, what if you're buying a home without a mortgage? You walked up and said, I can pay you the cash tomorrow. So when you do something like that, generally, short of having it sent over for like FCC filings and securities commissions and blah, 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 generally it means that they can't really refuse the offer if it's cash. If you know, there's no deal. Like, he's offering above market value. This is an offer. If you're a publicly traded company, and even if you're private, you kind of have to take it, or you risk having to explain to the shareholders why you haven't taken the deal. And that can be you can't refuse a deal if it's in good faith. But anyway, here's the rest of the article. Musk, the wealthiest person in the world. I did not know he became wealthiest person recently, but I guess he has 260 billion. Made headlines earlier this month when it was announced he purchased an enormous slice of Twitter that made him its largest shareholder. Musk was going to join the board, but backed out last minute. Amid speculation, he may just want to just buy the entire company. The speculation turned out to be correct when Musk threatened to take his ball and go home if he can't take the company private with his bid. I invested in Twitter, and I believe its potential to be a platform for free speech around the globe. Now, if you're for free speech, but then you want to take it private, there's stuff to be said there. Anyway, however, since making my investment, I now realize the company will neither thrive nor serve this social imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company, he continued. As a result, I'm offering to buy 100% of Twitter for $54.20 per share in cash, a 54% premium over the day before I began investing in Twitter, and a 38% premium over the day before my investment was publicly announced. My offer is my best and final offer, and if it is not accepted, I would need to reconsider my position as a shareholder. Basically, what he's threatening is, if they don't accept his offer, he's going to publicly announce he's leaving Twitter, sell his 9% or whatever he currently owns, and then that will, in the speculative market, plummet Twitter's value to make it worth almost nothing. Basically saying, like, why? Because the shareholders will be, and the Wall Street will be like, why didn't you accept the offer if it was offered to you for that much money? You basically devalued your company by not accepting the offer. And that's sort of what a hostile takeover can kind of do to you. The document makes clear that Musk's offer, share a premium, blah, 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 saying he's not playing back and forth game. Okay, yada, yada, just what I said. This is not a threat, he said. It's simply not a good investment without the changes that need to be made. Blah, blah. So billionaires, pros offer. So one of the other billionaires that's involved with it says he doesn't want to accept the deal. So it's basically a pissing match between billionaires in there that it's basically put up or shut up. What does this mean for Twitter as a platform? If he wants to make it truly a platform for completely free speech, then it should probably remain a public company, or it should be reincorporated as a nonprofit organization or something like that. The fact that he wants to take it private can do one of two things. One, he could be true to his word, even though he's kind of been known to be a bit scummy. But if he wants to be true to his word and make it a haven for free speech, he has the power to do so then. It also means he can then twist it to his will or do whatever he wants, and he could totally ruin free speech, or it could be free speech how he interprets free speech. So we'll see how that goes from there. But it's kind of expected that they kind of have to accept the offer. If they don't, it will be pretty dramatically bad for them on the market. So we'll see how that goes. As far as the next story, this is from TMZ, and this is a bit of a sad story. It's Gilbert Gottfried has passed away at the age of 67. I believe he had a rare heart disorder. In a statement from his family released this past Tuesday, they announced, "We are heartbroken to announce the passing of our beloved Gilbert Gottfried after a long illness. In addition to being the most iconic voice in comedy," and that's pretty much true. I think his voice, you could hear it. There's nobody that sounded like him. Gilbert was a wonderful husband, brother, friend, and father to his 2 young children. Although today is a sad day for us all, please keep laughing as loud as possible in Gilbert's honor. His representative, Glenn Schwartz, tells us he died from a heart abnormality called ventricular tachycardia due to myotonic dystrophy type 2. Interesting. Gilbert's career spans back to the 70s, where he was cast as a member of Saturday Night Live. Forgot about that. Then he became a hit on The Cosby Show in the 80s. He was a standout in Beverly Hills Cop 2, where he played the business manager Sidney Bernstein. And we probably know him, like our generations know him most for his voice acting. Things like, was he Iago, the parrot in Aladdin? I remember him doing a lot of like celebrity roasts and stand-up specials and stuff. So it's sad to see him go at that age. And I know he tweeted out a picture of him and Louis Anderson and Bob Saget, that it was them together fairly recently. Like there's a lot of these guys going, and pretty young too. Let's be honest, like, 60s and early 70s is young for a lot of these guys to go. But I mean, it sounds like he had a pretty rough go of it. So hopefully, he didn't have to suffer too much long. Like, he didn't have to suffer that long, I guess, comparatively to what some people have to go through. And we can always remember him for his crazy voice and work. And I know that there's a video or a clip out there where he speaks in his normal voice. For the most part, he always spoke in his stage voice. He didn't actually normally sound like that. I think it's on YouTube. You can find it, where he's like talking to somebody on a phone call, which is like a rarity, because like he would, if the cameras were on or if there were fans around, he always spoke in that voice. And our final story today is brought to us from comicbook.com. And it says here that Anthony Mackie filming Twisted Metal in a few weeks, not Captain America 4. Captain America 4 is not the next thing on Anthony Mackie's schedule, despite what you may have heard. Following an interview with Extra TV, last night went viral when the Avengers star responded to a question when he starts filming by saying he would be in a few weeks. It has been assumed that it would be for the upcoming Marvel Studios movie. In an interview, Mackie was actually referring to Twisted Metal, the video game adaptation, which is in the works as a TV series on Peacock. Sources at Disney have confirmed at comicbook.com that Captain America 4 is not about to start filming. No, I haven't started filming. I start in a few weeks, Mackie said in response to a question which did not specifically mention any specific project. When asked how he's preparing, the actor said a lot of vegetables and chicken breasts. Further teasing, however, he continued, "My newest project, Twisted Metal, is going to be a Peacock, and I'm about to start shooting that. And if you remember the video game, it's just us driving cars and blowing stuff up. I'm trying to make it to New San Francisco. I'm excited." So it sounds a little bit like they're making a bit of death race involved in it too. That it's like a race across the country or something. Little is known about the fourth Captain America movie. As of now, we know Mackie will lead the film, and that Malcolm Spellman, head writer for Marvel Studios series Falcon the Winter Soldier, and Dallin Musan, a series writer on Disney Plus show, will pen the script. No director or other cast members are attached yet, and even Sebastian Stan is unaware if he's returning for the film. Mackie has previously offered a tease about the movie, though, revealing that he has a specific song that is carrying him as he prepares for the role. "Music is a part of my life," Mackie told Variety. "Every role I play, I pick a song to represent that character, and I pick a piece of art to represent that character. So music has always been kind of a defining factor in my life and my career." Regarding Captain America 4, Mackie teased that the song he has in mind is a Tupac song, "Hit 'Em Up." Captain America 4 has yet to have a release date, but you can now watch Winter Soldier, yada, yada, yada. So yes, I guess that means that depending on how fast production goes on Twisted Metal, if he's filming that now, and it's going to be a little more practical effects, like not a ton of crazy, like Marvel style CGI for it, and it's on Peacock, it's entirely possible that with the pandemic winding down as far as production goes, this could be a winter release where we get the first episode, or maybe early next year. And that would mean that probably Captain America, if he's shooting the show would probably wrap midsummer. Captain America might be a winter of 2023 or summer 2024 release if they're rushing it through. Maybe not. But yes, so it's interesting. And I didn't know that it was Peacock that had the Twisted Metal. I thought it was going to go to cable or HBO or something like that, but or Netflix or something, because Sony doesn't really have. They have a channel, but they don't really have it. Like, they're not really big in the cable space. So, and even in streaming, they kind of dropped the ball when it came to Crackle. So, I guess Peacock, that could be. Is that something that maybe people will actually go and subscribe to Peacock for? Who knows? But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. This has been a sort of a slow news week, obviously, as it's been, technically it was a 4-day week last week, and then it's kind of a 4-day week this week because a lot of people are off on the Monday. So it's kind of been it. It's probably going to have a similar situation where we might not have as much big news this week either. So now that the news is over, we're going to check out the joint review that Birdman and I did for Jackass Forever, and then we'll be back with the weird news.
The world waited for what felt like forever. Then we waited longer. But this February, we promise
This is gonna be the gnarliest shit ever.
the wait is over.
Hello, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
We're looking at something special coming to us today from Paramount Home Entertainment. We are talking about Jackass Forever on Blu-ray and digital, coming to us from Paramount Home Entertainment. And well, this is a joint review between me and my compatriot, my random hero, my Preston Lacey. You're definitely not Wee Man.
Definitely not Wee Man. I'm probably more Preston Lacey mixed with poopies.
Yeah, whereas I'm probably more like Danger Aaron, because that looks stupid, I'll do that, and Johnny Knoxville. So yes, this is a movie that me and Alex were really looking forward to seeing. This is actually the last movie me and Alex saw together in theaters. Then this movie came out in February, but now it is available for you to own. You can also stream this on Paramount Plus. So there are wide varieties to talk about, but we are going to talk about the home video release for this, which does have some exclusive stunts. So the movie Jackass Forever, what did you think, Alex?
I was impressed. Like, it's got really high reviews, obviously, on Rotten Tomatoes. But what I found interesting was, I don't think I laughed as insanely hard at any one particular skit in here as I might have in some of the previous films, but I laughed more consistently throughout.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. Like in Jackass 1, 2, and 3, there's maybe 1 or 2 stunts or skits where it's a 10 out of 10 for me, and then there were a lot of like 4s and 5s and 6s. This is like a consistent 8 or 9 the whole way through. Yeah,
this one was definitely more consistent, I guess, because during the pandemic, when they started filming this back all the way in 2019, all the way up until pretty recently, they really had to get creative, like who they could have for crew, who they could have for stunts. Some of the people they brought out Eric Andre, they brought out Machine Gun Kelly, and other stars like that. I mean, other Jackasses have had, like Rip Torn has been in it, and you've had other celebrities make little cameos here. They're starting to pass the torch onto the new crew, which includes members like Rachel, like Zach, like Poopsies. And while they're not people like Ryan Dunn, who passed away in the earlier part of the 2010 decade, or people like Bam Margera, who were taken out of this, although do appear in several frames, and they are thanked at the end of the movie.
Appears in one skit near the beginning.
Yeah, it was the stunt where they're on the treadmill and they're in the marching band. And obviously, if you want to know more about that,
blink and you'll miss it, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I remember you and I were at the theater and we both kind of looked at each other saying, "Is that Bam?" So yeah,
looking a little more like Phil now, but yeah. But
yeah,
that's
he's
the point.
Yeah, he's definitely hit the Margera matriarch stage or whatever, patriarch stage or whatever.
But outside of that, I mean, consistently, I don't know, was this the longest movie? It felt like longer than some of the other ones. It might be, and whether it is or not, it's interesting how it goes, because they filmed it during the pandemic. Knoxville stopped dyeing his hair at some point, so it's funny. You can tell which skits and stunts are newer by how gray the hair of everybody is.
Now, speaking of stunts, which was your favorite stunt in the movie so far?
Favorite in the movie proper is it's a hard pick for me, honestly. Probably Danger Aaron having the final cup test.
Yeah, the cup test is probably my favorite, especially with the big heavyweight boxer, especially the way that he says ding ding. I had a huge laugh at that.
Oh yeah, Francis Ngannou is no joke, dude. Like he's knocked people out in the UFC ring where they're taken away on stretchers like snoring.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and he hit him in the ding ding.
I think my favorite stunts is definitely that one, cup test. I would say the Dark Shark and the Tarantula was a pretty funny bit, and probably Danger Aaron and the bear. So Danger Aaron gets a lot of the bad stunts in this.
If you look in previous films, they sort of spread it out here and there, and it tended to be Knoxville getting hurt the most, or Dave England. Mm-hmm. This was like easily 50% of the stunts where people get hurt was Danger Aaron.
Yeah,
he was way more prominently featured in this film than any of the previous ones.
And even some of the new guys get a chance to shine, like Zach, Poopsies, and Jasper. One of the funnier ones, especially since I'm a fat guy, is where they do body surfing and they go out in the desert, coda basically a slip and slide and Astroglide, and it goes about as well as you would expect, with my favorite line being, and then they came to the tragic conclusion that horses don't have arms.
Yeah. So I mean, I probably shouldn't spoil any more of the skits, just that there's plenty of variety here. Now, the only thing, if I had to be slightly critical, is, and it's a limitation of the pandemic, you couldn't do very many fly on the wall skits. So they do bring back the sort of the bad grandpa type of character, but there's a preview, like in the trailer, there's a skit that's not even shown in the movie. It's where he's like on top of the bus shelter on fire. That's not even and I was waiting to see that happen. That's not in the movie. So this is a case of some of the trailer skits don't appear in the movie, but they only do I'll say this right now, 2 very short fly on the wall type skits, and it's because of the limitations of COVID. So if they were to do another film in the future, I have a feeling they try to maybe ramp that up a little more, because that was the only thing that felt that it wasn't represented quite as well. Some of the older crew didn't show up either, but I think there's a good balance with the new crew.
Now, to talk about some of these special features on this, there isn't a commentary, there's no trailers, there's no behind the scenes, but there are stunts that didn't make them. And a lot of these, I can see why they didn't do it. My favorites being is probably, I think it's called In the Rear, where they have Zach bend over, spread his butt cheeks, and Steve-O tries to use a compound bow to shoot a butt plug into his butt. Goes about as well as you might expect. There's another one where Johnny Knoxville has a fire extinguisher and chases around Aaron, which is pretty friggin' funny. And it's either Aaron or Dave England. I can't remember which. And there's another, you see 3 variations of the telephone pole skit. And there is one where Chris Pontius discovers why you don't put your particular male genitalia rather, and experiment with hot sauce. I think that stuff is called Fire in the Hole. Yeah, he's like, oh, it was painful to watch.
Well, and it's crazy. Like, there's a lot of those included. Like, there's a ton if you read the back of the box of extra skits and stunts. And then we hear that there's probably going to be more. They're going to do a Jackass 4.5. So they filmed a lot. And we had, like, in the main movie, there's the creme de la creme, obviously. But it's the kind of movie where it can keep giving. And you can keep rewatching, right? And you can probably still find something funny or find a little detail in the background that you didn't notice the first time.
I will say in closing, there's one stunt in here that almost made me puke. Alex was laughing at me in the theater when this happened. And the only thing I'm going to say about that skit is this. So that's why they wouldn't let me wear my cool hat.
Oink, oink.
Oink. think I preferred that one. So yeah, if you want to check this out, Jackass Forever is available in a variety of different places. Like I said, if you want to check it out on Paramount Plus, you can do that as well. But if you want to own this at home, there is the Blu-ray and digital copy. As we understand, there is a Jackass 4.5 coming at some point down the road. Will not surprise me if we see a complete series with the TV series, all the specials, and all the movies in one collection. It is coming, I would gauge.
It's about time that the first two movies got a Blu-ray release because they still are stuck on standard def.
So, Paramount, hear our cries, hear our bones cracking, and thank you to Johnny Knoxville and crew for providing many years of entertainment. You've definitely earned a chance to go rest and heal all your wounds, and you can always check these guys out on YouTube. Steve-O still does his podcast, so be checking that out. So, well, that's going to do it for us. So we're going to throw things back to Alex as he does the solo show this week. So until next time, I'm Mike the Birdman, and this is still Jackass.
Did you hear something break?
Yeah. I heard this like crack. I thought it was a cup.
Oh my, is that the hardest you've ever hit someone in the ding-ding?
Oh yeah.
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria!
It's time for the weird news. We've got 3 stories here for you. First one is brought to you by comicbook.com. Birdman grabbed this story, and it is Al Pacino has a Shrek iPhone case, and the internet loves it. If you can carry a cell phone, if you carry a cell phone, and honestly, who doesn't, then you pretty much need to have a case. It protects the phone from damage, and if you do it right, lets you have a little bit of fun of self-expression as it comes in all sorts of colors and designs and suits nearly every interest. Legendary actor Al Pacino, it seems that one of his interests appears to be Shrek, at least if his phone case is any clue. Thanks to a photo Aquaman star Jason Momoa shared on Instagram over the weekend, fans have gotten a glimpse of Pacino's phone case, and now the internet can't stop talking about it. In the photo, which is part of the collection of photos Momoa posted celebrating a gallery opening for painter Julian Schnabel, Pacino is among the group sitting at the table at dinner, and while that itself isn't terribly remarkable, Pacino's phone case can be seen lying on the table, as well as that's where things get interesting. Marie Barty, whose Twitter profile identifies her as a social media producer for Blank Check, noticed the phone and then did a little sleuthing, discovering that the phone case is a collage of Shrek, and not just that, but one you can buy said Shrek collage phone case on Amazon. You can check the exact case out for yourself here. There's a link to it, and let me just take a quick look-see at it. Oh, it's one of those weird like Chinese cases where it's just a collage of all Shrek's faces mashed on top of each other. Shrek everywhere, only Shrek, and then at the very top there's a little tiny picture of Puss in Boots. And it says here, that's right, Al Pacino has a Shrek phone case, and a $12 case, by the way. Naturally, the internet went wild with the news, and they just couldn't stop talking about it on social media. Some are in disbelief, others unable to think about anything else. So it's just one of those still little tiny... It's one of those tiny little things. Maybe he's got a sense of humor. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's been a slow news week, people. So that's just a little quirky thing that we thought was kind of funny. As far as our next story here, this is from Yahoo News. Birdman grabbed this. Mystery sarcophagus found in Notre Dame to be opened. Okay. A mysterious leaden sarcophagus discovered in the bowels of Paris Notre Dame Cathedral after it was devastated by a fire will soon be opened and its secrets revealed, French archaeologists said Thursday. The announcement came just a day before the 3rd anniversary of the inferno that engulfed the 12th century Gothic landmark, which shocked the world and led to a massive reconstruction project. During preparatory work to rebuild the church and its ancient spire last month, workers found the well-preserved sarcophagus buried more than a meter, 3 feet underground, lying among the brick pipes of the 19th century heating system. But it's believed to be much older, possibly the 14th century. Scientists have peeked into the sarcophagus using an endoscopic camera, revealing the upper part of a skeleton, a pillow of leaves, fabric, and as yet unidentified objects. The scientists, the sarcophagus was extracted from the cathedral on Tuesday. France's INRAP, National Archaeologist Research Institute, said during a press conference. It is currently being held in a secure location and will be sent very soon to the Institute of Forensic Medicine in the southwestern city of Toulouse. Forensic experts and scientists will then open the sarcophagus and study its contents to identify the skeleton's gender and former state of teeth. Lead archaeologist Christophe Besnier said, adding that carbon dating technology could be used. Noting that it was found under the mound of earth that had furniture from the 14th century, Besnier said, if it turns out that it is in fact a sarcophagus from the Middle Ages, we are dealing with an extremely rare burial practice. They also hope to determine the social rank of the deceased. Given the place and style of burial, they are presumably among the elite of their time. However, INRAP head Dominique Garcia emphasized that the body will be examined in compliance with French laws regarding human remains. A human body is not an archaeological object, he said. As human remains, the civil code applies to the archaeologists will study it as such. Once they are done studying their sarcophagus, it will be returned not as an archaeological object, but as an anthropological asset, Garcia added. And could Notre Dame, the unknown person's home for so many centuries, serve as their final resting place? INRAP said the possibility of reinterment in the cathedral was being studied. I mean, let's just hope it doesn't have like some weird disease in there. But it's so 1300s. Could it be a knight? Could it be somebody of some, or could it be some like bishop or saint? No, they would be put somewhere else. Like, still, it's odd. Like, it's in that weird period where Christianity had taken hold, but there's still the 1300s. You still, depending on how old the body is and when they detect, there are weird remnants of previous religions and cultures that could have been there. So it is that weird Middle Ages. Could it be somebody who died of the plague? Could it be somebody who died of something else? Who knows? They usually burn those bodies, I thought. But well, we'll see. That's actually pretty crazy. And our final story here is from the Times News UK. I got the story, but it's about Canada, but it was reported in the UK. So this says Quebec's Ministry of Health apologizes for tweeting a link to a porn video instead of a COVID page. Quelle horreur! It says Quebec's Ministry of Health is forced. What is it here? Quebec's Ministry of Health and Social Services apologized after it accidentally tweeted out a link to a Pornhub video instead of a government site with COVID-19 data. The Canadian agency, which has more than 103,000 Twitter followers, tweeted a link to a foot fetish porn on Thursday. And more than half an hour passed before officials corrected the error. The ministry later tweeted, due to a situation beyond our control, a link with inappropriate content was posted on our Twitter account. We are looking for the causes. We are sorry for the inconvenience. Quebec's Ministry of Health and Sciences porn a video of feet. I'll tell you right now what that is. It's not out of their control. Somebody in the office had been right-clicking to open up tabs to look at porn at work or at home when they're working from home, and instead of right-clicking and opening it to a new tab, they right-clicked and opened it to a new tab, but accidentally copied the link and then pasted the link. So somebody was looking at porn. The ministry said they were investigating why the link was attached to their COVID updates. Many were able to save grabs of the error on Twitter as dozens flocked to mock the ministry over the scandal. Twitter user Julia Cassandra jumped on the opportunity to poke fun at the ministry, writing, "Free porn brought to you by your government." Sean Fraser, another Twitter user, added, "Now that's the COVID information we've all been looking for. Another Twitter user with the handle Mr. Johnny questions if Canadians should be wary of future tweets from the ministry. We should also be hesitant to click any further links provided by the Quicks Ministry of Health, he wrote. A fellow Twitter user with the handle Barbara Chuk quipped, "It's because we're going to erect elections." Which is because we're having provincial elections in about a month or two, I think. Many were quick to mock the ministry and social media over the Twitter gaffe. Pierre Langevin, another Twitter user, also mocked the ministry, joking that it should be easy to find the person responsible for the error. Obviously, ministry officials have time to waste on their sites containing inappropriate content. Do not look for the causes, but rather the individual. A clue, some tissues on the desk. The correct link, later posted to the ministry's Twitter page, took followers to a website detailing the latest COVID-19 stats in Quebec. The site shows that Canadians in the province has seen 3,190 new cases in the last 24 hours, 26 new deaths reported. Quebec has seen 94 hospitalizations, yada, yada, yada. And then it just goes on to explain the actual stats. But yeah, there's like screenshots of it. And the title of the video that it went to was "Build Them, Smell Them, Lick Them." It's a foot fetish. Oh, Quebec. And that is going to do it for the weird news this week. We're going to go to another review from Birdman, and then I'll come back and close out the show.
Where'd you learn to talk like that?
TV. We talk TV. You talk some TV.
I talk some TV. And now the news. Don't touch that dial.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here, and I'm here to talk about something rather strange and kind of unique that I got sent recently. And this comes from the company Basic Fun. I'm talking about the tiny TV classics. You can find these at Walmart retailing for about $30. So what these are small replica televisions with actual working remote controls, which is kind of fun. And they play clips from, well, the various shows that the various properties that you can get are Friends, Back to the Future, Batman, South Park, Family Guy, Big Bang Theory, Star Trek, and Bob's Burgers. I got sent the Big Bang Theory, and I also got sent Family Guy, which covers seasons 1 and 2, and I think the Big Bang was season 4. So what these things do, they play 12 clips of about 10 to about 15 seconds, and they're usually like little one-liners or small little scenes that are just, well, generally pretty funny. And you can actually use the remote control to actually change the channel, turn things up and down. When you power up the unit, you do get a full playthrough of the theme song that the show does. You see the like copyright information. And when the TV turns off, it does go to either a no signal or it shows static before the TV just snaps and turns itself off. As a desktop little kind of curiosity, kind of neat to see this technology being used. I think I remember something similar when I was a kid, but they were cassettes and they were called hip clips, and they would play like little clips of like Ricky Martin and New Kids on the Block and, you know, whatever was popular at the time. To see it adapted to a more visual medium is certainly something interesting and not something I quite expected. I would love to see other properties get this treatment in the future. Now, in terms of $30, I could see this being kind of a fun Christmas gift or kind of a gag gift for a coworker or a friend that you know is particularly into these properties. Although I do propose a alternate use for these things. These would fit wonderfully inside a action figure diorama, depending on the scale of your particular figures. I've mentioned this previously because I base a lot of my opinions on stuff that's based in the 6-inch scale. So like Ghostbusters Plasma, Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, DC Direct figures, that sort of thing, or even the Jazzwares Halo Spartan collection. So if the Master Chief wants to kick back and watch South Park with his best friend Mando from The Mandalorian, and if they're a little tired and they want to lie down and watch, South Park, well, they can definitely do that while hanging out with Optimus Prime and Jazz. So are these things worth it? I think depending on what you intend to use them for, as a gag gift, yeah, not too bad for $30. They're a pretty cool stocking stuffer. But if you want to give your dioramas and action figures something a little bit more interesting, and like I said, with a fully functional remote, my only complaint about this is the volume does get a little distorted, but that's mostly due to the size of the speaker. And that's just the way it is. It's a tiny driver. You really can't do much more with it. Your cell phone does produce a better sound, but then again, that's spending hundreds of dollars as to opposed to something that would cost you less than a large pizza, depending on where you're ordering from. So the Tiny TV Classics coming to us from Basic Fun, are they worth checking out? Well, if you've got a TV dork in your family, or if you're looking for something to spruce up a diorama, you should probably check these out. They're not too shabby at all.
Alaska container, Alaska spill. Hey, I was watching that.
TV rots your brains.
Those magnificent bastards! Color me kooky, but something very odd is going on around here.
You're not allowed to talk anymore.
And that is going to do it for the show this week. We will be back, both Birdman and I, hosting the show in 2 weeks' time. He's going to be hosting it solo next week. As I said earlier, we're doing a barbecue for my brother's birthday. He's turning, what is he turning, 29 or is he turning 30? Wait, how old am I? Goddamn. Okay, yeah, he's turning 29. This week, so we're having this episode come out on Monday or Tuesday, and Wednesday, we might have, it's either going to be this Wednesday or next Wednesday, we'll have the first Loose Cannon episodes of the year. The first episode will be us discussing some long forgotten theatrical buddy cop action movies that most people forget existed. One of them maybe you might have heard of, called Shakedown, and that is a buddy cop movie starring RoboCop himself, Peter Weller, and Sam Elliott the cowboy. And the other one is Number One with a Bullet, which I'm pretty sure most people have never heard of or seen. And then the following week or following episode is going to be us discussing two more. One being Dead Heat, which is a buddy cop zombie movie. And what's the other one? I think we're doing Running Scared for that one. I think Running Scared. And then we might have another package of two more in there's a Jay Leno, Pat Morita movie. And I think there's another one, which is John Belushi and John Ritter. And that'll round out our forgotten late 80s buddy cop action movies. You know, when there was that big craze to make them after 48 Hours and Lethal Weapon came out, and then they were throwing everything at the fan to see what would, it's everything, you know, what'll stick. But yeah, so that's going to be what we've got there. We've also got this coming weekend, the first episode in our next batch of the Stargate SG TWIG episodes. We've got 4 of them recorded. We're going to be returning in the next week or so to record the next batch of sessions. And Birdman might have some more stuff coming. I know he's doing poetry slams or something every once a month. I think he's going to be doing that. So he's giving himself, you know, an out. I think Saturdays he'll be doing that. I don't know. I don't think you can record them, but we'll see. Maybe he can record some of them and we could play them. If not, you know, don't hold me to it. But we've got maybe some syndicated stuff coming up too. And also I am working on editing the next big batch of Earth versus Soup. We've got probably 30 weeks of episodes for me to go through. 30. I might, if I'm adding them up correctly, we might even have half a year or more that we can go through. And those will be coming out every Thursday. I'll make sure I get at least a few of them edited right now. And then I got to take a day or so in the next few weeks where I just sit down for like 8 hours and edit like 20 episodes or more and get them ready to go. And we're approaching episode 100 there. And my goal is to have new artwork and maybe a new theme song produced for it for then to celebrate, because that's a lot of work that they have put in, both Aaron and Darlene. And we'll be returning with Future Imperfect soonish. And we really haven't had any prototypes this year because there hasn't been a lot that Birdman wanted to cover. And we were thinking we're going to probably do one. We're going to do those quarterly topic shows. technically, I guess the Halo one was kind of a prototype, but we're getting close to the summer of gaming stuff. So when we have a big gaming news thing, we're going to have probably the month of June, we're covering a whole lot that way. And then we'll do our quarterly topic shows. So we're taking things as they go. We're not having a super rigid schedule anymore. We are trying for the most part to get a regular news, like a regular episode like this out every Monday. And then a Turd or Treasure probably once a month to twice a month, depending on how much comes in. But we're not going to overload ourselves, especially as we get into the summer months, and we'll go from there. So I will be off the regular show this coming week, but Birdman will be here, but I will be on other programming here, and we'll get back to our regular schedule, I guess, just at the end of April.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
Lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.